everyone goes in these retreats and expect their life to change magically, but no one tells us that, the work is coming after these experiences. Yes, ayahuasca can lift, depression and these feelings, and can bring at the surface what we have to deal with. But are we ready for this? Is the nervous system ready for this? Do we have support?
People say that, oh, you cannot get addicted to this medicine, but you can get addicted to the experience. I know many people who goes every couple of weeks, they start to come off the high, they go for another ceremony instead of going into their process. And that's a type of spiritual bypassing.
Ayahuasca has this magical way of amplifying everything, pointing you to the things that you really need to see, things that we normally hide them. We keep them in subconscious or mind, or we are not just ready to deal with them. Stop and do the integration. Many people, they are coming from a place where they are hurt and they are looking for solutions. So they often think by doing more ceremonies, the solution will come faster, the healing will happen faster, and they will be able to, feel different. But unfortunately, it's like the Pandora's box. We don't want to leave everything out in the same time. 6 months, work on the integration, see the things, at least 6 months to 1 year. See whatever arises, see whatever you have to deal with, see whatever you have to address, see what you have to change, what behaviors, what you keep and what you let go.
So hello and welcome back to the podcast Ayahuasca Avatars. And today I am here with one of my sisters, Roxana, who is joining us from a far, far away place. And we're going to talk about how ayahuasca changed her life so much so that she devoted her work to serve, the people who want to walk this plant medicine path, such as myself. And I'm excited to hear about her experience, and then how she is supporting other people in this healing space. So welcome, Roxana. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me, Nina. I'm so grateful to be part of your podcast.
Yes, I think it's like amazing, to share our stories. I think that storytelling is a big part of healing, and the medicine as well, especially with the ayahuasca, is taken normally, in a group setting. So there is this community aspect of healing, and I really believe that, sharing our stories is already healing for us, to share it, and it can be healing for other people who are, connecting with the medicine, in some way. So thank you for being open to that.
Thank you, and I do share your beliefs. Yeah, I do believe ayahuasca it's something that has to be taken in community. It is somehow a tool for healing, and we do heal. We heal together. Harm is caused sometimes by people, but also people are the ones that heal us with the help of plants.
Yes. So tell us about your story, and how did you come to the medicine, and what happened to you, and how did your life change, as a result of this experience?
It's so interesting, because it's so, I don't know how to wrap it up all, but to start with the beginning, I first heard about ayahuasca in 2011. And since then, I was just collecting information. I was looking online to see whatever I could find on YouTube. In that time was not too much information, was not too many videos, were not too many books. Now we have easier access to the information, which is very important. So for me, it required a chunk of time, many years, to gather the information I needed. I always thought that I'll reach in the jungle to do my first ceremony, but it happened differently for me. And it happened to a moment when I was going through intense, let's say, crisis. And I was like, now is the time. Now it's that time, I felt like I was trying different tools before to tackle the issue that I was having, and were not working. So I said, okay, maybe this will help now. It's calling me for some time. And I know it helps so many other people. So I decided to participate in the ceremony.
Well, thank you for pointing that out, that it's so important that you educate educate yourself before, and it's nice to hear that you did all that research and kind of discovery before you actually went into the experience. That's like totally the opposite what I did, because I was just like, yeah, that sounds good, let's go for it. And that didn't turn out so well. So yeah, it's very important that you do your own research, you educate yourself, because we are going into the unknown, and we are like, it's a different world, literally. And yeah, it's good to have some kind of understanding. Of course, it cannot, mirror your experience, but still, a little bit of information. And the other thing that you mentioned as well, like a lot of people come to my practice with the same story, so to say, that, oh, I'm struggling with this, that, the other, and I tried so many things, and I tried this way and that way, like to resolve it. And, maybe there is some improvement, but I'm still struggling. Maybe there is no improvement. Maybe there is like, I improve and then I relapse. So, people are still struggling after trying many ways of resolving their problem. And then they come to the medicine often, they say, I want to try something new, something different, and this is calling me, this is piquing my interest. So do you want to share a little bit about like what was particularly what you were struggling with, and, how, like the medicine, then helped you with that?
Yeah. It was a accumulation of things, was not just one. I was changing countries, was very hard to adapt where I was. And somehow after traveling the world, which I done before moving to UAE, is where I live now. And then once I moved here, somehow I didn't fit in this speed and fast city, and I couldn't find my place. And then I just went into a journey inside, and I realized I had so many things that I just pushed under the carpet. Life happened and just had to deal with life. We don't have probably the tools or the time to stay and do healing, when it's required. So we just push things on the side. This is what happened for me. And when I settled here, it's like somehow everything just got out. And I was looking for ways to coping with life and to continue living. Then, like I guess any other person, when we suffer, we look for solutions and we take whatever is available. For me, it was substance abuse, was alcohol, which somehow I used to regulate my nervous system. Now I understand because I study and I wanted to reach to the end of it. And it was just I can't say out of control, but it was just controlling some aspects of me that were not me. So then I said, I need to find, my solution. But of course, underneath this, it's so much more. That's the tool that people take. Can be alcohol, can be I don't know, substances, different substances, can be behaviors, can be food, can be whatever. We are so clever that we find solutions to keep going in life. But the problem is those solutions in time reach to harm us. Yeah. So I couldn't really I couldn't put my finger on something to say this is it, but I knew that my life is not aligned with me and the way I want to live my life. And everything got a bit more accentuated with more enhanced, let's say, that situation that happened in my life. And then I said, this is it. I have to go and do my healing. I tried. I felt like all the other methods, like yoga, which is useful. I'm not against it. Like even for me, I was on the path for many years, but just scratching the surface. But for me, I felt I need something deeper. This is when I went to do my first ceremony. Yeah. And from there, of course, we'll continue and we'll discuss about it. Things turn in a different direction.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. So many good, gems and good learnings and teachings that you are sharing. And I think that's why it's so important that people share their experience, because these are things that I don't think we can learn from a book, and from TikTok. I mean, to a certain extent, of course, but yeah, to see somebody, to like who've been through it, that and sharing about that journey, it's a different experience. A little bit like feel like these troubadours or something in the Middle Ages who went, and sing the stories, and that was a way of storytelling. Like I feel a little bit like that coming back from ceremony or from a retreat or something, But it's so true, what you are saying about whatever we are struggling with, we are not even aware of the root of the problem, Normally we are aware of the symptoms, and the symptoms, as you described, is coping, trying to cope in order to survive. That's what we are talking about here, right? So we are trying to cope in order just to get through the life and get through our days. And these coping mechanisms, this escapism, these it's just a lot of times, the coping is some kind of addictive, compulsing thing that we do. And as you said, it can be running. I know people who, if they don't run, I don't know, 15 miles or something, they are not pleasant to be around, So it doesn't have to be, necessarily what you imagine that is some kind of self-destructive things. But yeah, definitely the feeling that you described of the feeling lost, right? And just, for going through that period when we try to push things under the carpet and put the genie back in the bottle, but there is a point, when okay, like something needs to give, right? Something needs to happen. So what will happen? And I think that's a turning point for most people, where people can go into complete self-destruction, unfortunately, if that's what their path is. But you can also make a big turn on there. And as you said, the first step on that road is to start facing yourself and go inside of yourself to try to identify and figure out what is really going on and what is the real issue, right, that you need to work on. And that's exactly what this medicine helps us with, right? The mother ayahuasca helps us to go inside and go into those blind spots, into those unconscious places where the information is necessary for us to to create some kind of significant change. So yeah, like how did this look like for you in real life? Okay, you went to the ceremony. Most people imagine, okay, I'm going to the retreat and afterwards everything is going to be perfect. That's what I thought, by the way. And what happens, that after there is a little bit this high, this afterglow, and this like little deceptive period. You think now it's all good now, but then you're just starting to heading into your journey. So how was your experience?
Yeah, I think in this, I was saying that I was collecting information for many years, but no information prepared me for what was after. Ayahuasca has this magical way of amplifying everything. And I know it is an amplifier, and just pointing you to the things that you really need to see, things that we normally we hide them, we keep them in subconscious or mind, or we are not just ready to deal with them. So ayahuasca will just bring everything at the surface to allow us to look at them. So for me, returning after the retreat was a period of few weeks when, yes, the serotonin levels were higher, things were better. I was feeling much better, but I had no idea what was coming. For years after, almost 2 years, I had to work on integrating the changes and going literally to each problem that was brought to the surface. I think it took me so long because I done this on my own. I had no support, which I now look back and I understand why I choose to do this work, because things were going smooth for me. Definitely not in my wildest dreams I would think that I will work in integration. But just the path that I had to take, the wounded healer, to find solutions for myself, to be able to assist others. And was very challenging. Was something that no one ever, like I said, prepared me to and for, and I just had to look for solutions myself. And this is when I start studying more, and I was like, okay, let me see what's missing here. Everyone goes in these retreats and expect their life to change magically, but no one tells us that, the work is coming after this experience. Yes, ayahuasca can lift, depression and these feelings and can bring at the surface what we have to deal with. But are we ready for this? Is the nervous system ready for this? Do we have support? Is someone back home that we can share with? We have a community. There are so many aspects that not many people, talk about. So I learned this through studies. Then when I decided, I said, I need to find, to reach to the end of it. I'll have to get on the other side somehow. And I studied addiction recovery and also psychedelic integration. And then I felt that this is very much a mind-based approach which is great for some. I started from the mind. I was in the mind. I think one of the problems for me that I was mainly in the mind, and I see that I think the entire society is in the mind because we are so trained to be, or it's so much emphasized on using the mind. And I think from a mind approach, I cannot fix this. So then I went into studying the body and see, okay, how I can do this integration somatically. And then I studied plant medicine, somatic plant medicine integration. And that was the shift. That was when things started to change. From there, I moved into trauma studies and the felt sense, which I apply now a lot in my with my clients in the integration sessions, and is where I actually see shifts happening because it's this intelligence that it's innate, it's in us. But with the help, when we want to change it, and with the help of ayahuasca, things just they change. So it was a very long journey. Sometimes I felt like, I felt lost. I felt alone. But I guess this was the push for me. This was my journey, my path, that prepared me now.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. I resonate so much with your experience. That's probably why we connected somehow with each other, because like it's so similar to what I went through. And I really went through the ringer. I did everything like the wrong way, and I did the big part of this work, as you said, like myself as well. And definitely, now I understand in retrospect why I had to do that. So in order to hold space for others and to guide others today. But it's not everybody's calling and destiny, right? This is kind of not always what happens, and definitely it's harder to go through it alone, and it's longer. So if you're listening, don't try to be a warrior, because it's gonna be intense like anyways. Like, get support, get help. You don't have to do it alone, and save yourself some time and unnecessary suffering, right? Because what you have to do anyways, right? In the integration process. And as you mentioned, things gonna be arising. The medicine will help you to, it will literally, push things to the surface, so you can look at things one by one and deal with them and process them and let them go. And at the very root, normally there is trauma, as you mentioned, that when we starting releasing these layers or these aspects, whatever people want to call them, it's there is this deep wounding on the bottom of it that was not taken care of, right? So it couldn't heal, it couldn't, and once we get there, it's real healing is possible. And this real healing, I think it's very important that people understand that this happens on every level, and you are not your mind, you are not just your body, you are not only your emotion, you are a connected being. So the healing happens on every level, as you said, not just mentally, not just intellectually, but it happens emotionally, it happens somatically, it happens spiritually. There's spiritual healing, soul retrieval, remembering your true nature. So that is on every level. And yet, therefore, pure talk therapy is very ineffective when we are talking about this situation. And most people who are in this world, we are guided to learn and to have tools like somatic experiencing, felt sense, breath work, movement practices, other forms of other ways of help people, support people to process and to let go of things, because there's so much you can do by talking about it. So thank you so much for bringing that up. Like, can you say a little bit, because I'm familiar with somatic experiencing, but I'm not familiar with the felt sense. Like, how is these two things different, or is there, how do you use them, in your work?
So the felt sense was, it's used in psychotherapy and was created by Gendlin. And it's this innate, I don't even have word to say, it's our innate wisdom that we tap into when we actually make space to be inside. And I start studying more to reach to the point of trauma and addiction. But then I thought, okay, how will it be if I apply it to psychedelic integration and ayahuasca? And because it's ayahuasca, it's so bodily experience, even in ceremonies, with the purging and the sensation we feel, they work very well together. And sometimes we'll work with the felt sense, and sometimes I'll use the somatic process called CybAM to just amplify the resources and help the clients before we do the work to have their resources that they can tap into anytime. So it was not something that intentionally I did. I was just researching in different ways, and I was doing a course in felt sense and polyvagal theory, and this is how somehow I was thinking, okay, how will it be if I put them together? And they work, of course, because it's this, like I said, innate intelligence that we all have. And if we make space for it, and if I create the container as for the clients and they are safely in it, and if they stay with this felt sense, the felt sense will give the information and also will shift what they feel. Yeah, it's something that in words, it's hard to put, and it's amazing when it's experienced. Because I think everyone has access to it, and this is why I love it. And I say to people who I'm working with, these are free tools, which are tools that you can learn to use anytime. You don't need me. You don't. Once we do the integration process, and of course you have the base. This is a tool that you can tap into anytime. You can do focusing with a friend. You can do focusing on your own and tap into this felt sense, and we can use it for any situation we have. So I like things that empower people. I don't want people to be hooked on someone, and I want them to give them tools that they can use at any time and get empowered. Because they are responsible in the end for their own healing. We are just there to create a space for them. And so sometimes I like to say borrow our nervous system, because we do look for regulation, which is very important.
Yes, thank you so much. I understand, from your story that you choose to kind of go onto this path to educate yourself, get training, and then help others, in their integration, because obviously you had a great result and a great success by doing your own integration. And that's exactly what happened to me. It was never like some big plan that I was like, oh, and that's what I'm gonna do. But I was like so impressed that when I did integration work, deep integration work, how much that added to the whole experience, and I realized that, hey, like there's so much you can get out of this, if you pay attention to the before and after as well, and you understand that it's a whole journey and not just an event or ceremony, that is happening. And I'm happy to see, that people are educating themselves on the internet and stuff about integration and all of these things that we are talking about. And that's why we are here as well. And you shared, a couple of things that are important part of this integration work, like, teaching your clients skills, and helping them to expand their awareness and shift their perspective on things, so they're gonna keep using those things after the container, after the therapy finished, or the integration, what we contracted each other for, like, is finished. So it's a learning experience, is what I would say to people, is right. So you are not just there to go to a therapist who will tell you what to do and solve your your problem, so to say. It's not like that at all, you know. It's the opposite, is, you know, like you helping you to get connected to your power, to your innate wisdom, to your internal guidance, teaching you new skills, you know, helping you to shift your perspective so you can keep going on that road, because it's going to be a lifestyle change forever. You know, it's not a dieta that you're doing and then you're returning to your old life. I mean, that if that's what you are intending, don't do it because it's not going to happen. And why would you do that? This is if you want to change your life, right? People come to this medicine when they want to change their life. So this change is important, you know, and this is a learning process as well. And as you said, you know, it's very important that it's not about the medicine, it's not about the therapist, it's not about, but ultimately is to empowering you to navigate your experience, to navigate intensity in your life, to deal with whatever to the best of your ability, without needing and wanting and depending on outside sources all the time to help you, to support you, to tell you, you know, and all these kind of things. So is there any other things that you would like to highlight that you think you want to know, like you want people to know about integration, and that this would be an important aspect as well of the integration process?
For me, I think the most important thing is to stop and do the integration. Many people they are coming from a place where they are hurt and they are looking for solutions. So they often think by doing more ceremonies, the solution will come faster, the healing will happen faster, and they will be able to, you know, feel different. But unfortunately, it's like, you know, the Pandora's box. We don't want to leave everything out in the same time. So stop and do that integration. You know, take 6 months, work on the integration, see the things, at least 6 months, at least 6 months to 1 year. See whatever arises, see whatever you have to deal with, see whatever you have to address, see what you have to change, what behaviors, what you keep and what you let go. Because if we keep running for ceremonies, then we end up, you know, in the end, we just becomes another addiction. Yeah, where people just look the high because they like the connection, like you said, is this element of work, of being with people, and we know the feeling good after. But stop and do the work, because long term it's just the way how our life changes. You know, we cannot bypass this. So this is, I think, something that it's the most important thing. Stop and do the work. Look for support. I wish if I'd be to go back to have someone to be able to help me and guide me and hold that space for me while I was healing, or at least to point out things to me, because I think will shortcut this a lot to me. But I guess this was my path and my journey, and this was why I had to go through all these challenges to reach on the other side and now assist people, because I can resonate with them now. I know where they are. So look for support, look for community. Don't isolate. Don't try to do it on your own. Look for other people. Share. If you don't have people to share with, look for integration circles. Look for a practitioner. Will help you to just get through the stages, because challenges will come. They will come. It's no way how, you know, this path will be full of roses. It will long term, and all will pay off, but challenges will be there. So look for support, stop to the integration, and then if you feel like you need to address more things, yes, go again. You know, but treat it always with respect. And in the end, we work with the technology. We work with something that's sacred, something that, you know, beyond somehow our understanding. Yeah, don't treat it like a method to just escape, because it's not. And yeah.
Thank you. I resonate so much with what you're saying. I would say exactly the same things, and it's such a nice affirmation. I have this like so many times with people who walk, you know, the same path, that, you know, the teachings that we receive is the same, the wisdoms is the same, you know, like it's not, because it's really one thing, right? And we see it in a slightly different way, but it's also a nice affirmation, you know, that we are connected to that source and to the energy, and the messages are the same, and they are very clear, you know, and there is not a big story or drama around it. And I love the way you put it, that just, you know, do the work, you know, you need to do and get help, because that's what I would say about integration, is just do the work you need to do. And you cannot bypass this work if you want real healing, if you want real change in your life. And that's why not many people are doing it, because it's not so difficult or not so easy, right? And people say that, oh, you cannot get addicted to this medicine, but you can get addicted to the experience. I know many people who goes every couple of weeks when the high is going, they start to come off the high, they go for another ceremony instead of going into their process, and that's a type of spiritual bypassing. And I want to note here that you cannot do this long term either. So if you think that's fine with me, I like that, you cannot do that either, because what's going to happen is what Roxana said, that, it's like a Pandora's box, and you're going to keep opening doors, and it will crash, after a while you will be overwhelmed and possibly get into spiritual emergency, or, your life will disintegrate, in a very fast way. And I'm talking from personal experience. So yeah, please don't do this if you are not ready, if you're not prepared, to or committed to do this. There is many other ways you can heal, you can change, you can, get to know yourself. This is not for everybody, and it's okay, and definitely don't feel pressured, to go into these kind of experiences, because, like, you really have to have, your own calling and commitment to do this. And the second thing that you said is to get help, get support. One consequence of when we have trauma is that we shut down and isolate. So when you look at children, if they upset, they reach out. That's the first thing you would do, reach out for help, for comfort. And when you are traumatized, you unfortunately do the opposite, like you isolate, you shut down, you're trying to pretend that you are fine and all these kind of things. And that's a trauma response. So if this is where you are right now, reach out, get professional help. Don't get a help of a friend who doesn't know what's happening to you. And, like, get professional help. As Roxanne said, there is free integration circles online. There's so many things you can do for free or for, very affordable. And that doesn't mean you are weak. That doesn't, like, no, it's like, actually it is a strength. It's courageous to say, it's difficult for me now. I need help. I need support, and guess what? This always around you, that help and support. So you just need to reach out for it and receive it, and yeah, we need openness for that. So yeah, don't shut down, reach out for support, and do the work that you need to do, and then you will get the results. I always say to people that if your life is not changing, then you didn't do your integration. That's the best way to judge, how much your life changed, your behavior, your habits, your relationship, your work, where you live, your location, everything, because the level of work we are talking about here gonna change your life on a fundamental level. Literally, myself and everybody I work with in my program change career, change location, move away, move to another country, pivoted their practice, like primary relationships changed, either dissolved or, significantly improved, like, lifestyle change big time, change in priorities and values. That's a really funny one, actually. Like, people first have values, like what is the most important for you is like success, career, money, like fame, whatever. And then after, it's like self-love and compassion, and like it is so different. So this will illustrate to you that, we are talking about real change that you will notice. And if you're not noticing any change, you are either bypassing your integration or you are stuck somewhere. And yeah, get some help, So yeah, anything else that you would like to share, that you want people to know, that they are all the people who are heading into the psychedelic renaissance and all this, everything that is going on in the space now, especially, in the United States, like what is something that you wish people would know right now before, if they are interested in these kind of experiences?
People to do their own research. It's a hype also now with psychedelics. Yes, they are great. Yes, they are healing, but also have contraindications. You need to know about these things. They might not be a solution for everyone. Don't do it because your friend is doing it or someone told you to do it. Do it because you are called to it and because you found no other options, or you felt like they didn't work. I do believe they are great tools for healing. They are amazing tools if they are done proper, in a safe environment, with someone trusted that done their work before, which is so important when you choose someone to do the psychedelics with and hold the space for you. Make sure that the person know what it's doing, because now so many people that they do psychedelics and not long after they start serving medicines, and that's wrong, and that can harm. And I think in any, what is it? It's a wave basically. Will be equal amount of good things happening and bad things. Yeah. So do your own research, be accountable, and really know what can happen. Yeah. And in regards to ayahuasca, because you were saying how people change priorities, I feel like, and this is my own personal feeling, is like help us to return to what's important. So over our lives, we get so much. We get cultural things. So we are born in certain cultures. We think certain things are important because others told us to. Our values are not in order. Ayahuasca comes and just strips out whatever is not important and shows you the essence. And with all the clients that I have and people I work with, and including myself and experiences, all this returning to love, to self-love, to learning how even to love ourselves, because we give ourselves away to others, and learning. It's everyone, I guess it's personal. No, I guess I know not, because it's no stories alike. It's so individual. But one message that is very, very, very repeating and aware is there. It's love, yeah? Love of others, love of ourselves, and just don't reevaluate the beliefs that we have and whatever it's important in our lives. I guess this is why people change countries, change jobs, change, because they realize that it's not what's important.
Thank you. It's such a good way of saying this. And yeah, I think the biggest challenge right now with the whole movement of the psychedelic renaissance is to stay safe on your journey, to make sure that you are in a safe environment when you are embarking on this path less traveled, and how to do that, right? Because when you do not know something, it's hard to discern, what is safe and what is not safe when you do not understand, when you don't have experience, when you don't have information. But it's important to understand that your safety is your responsibility. Okay. We're gonna include a blog post in the description. I wrote about this in an article called The Ultimate Ayahuasca Guide, and it's like, what are the things that you want to look out for? What are the red flags? And there is a list of questions that you can ask a retreat center or a ceremony leader or a therapist, to kind of gauge like what kind of experience and integrity and ethics they have. Okay. So everybody who has some kind of, integrity will like gladly answer your questions, as a client, as a customer. So yeah, check out that article, but yeah, educate yourself, do your research, and get help from people who are reputable. Yeah, who have integrity and ethics, right? Go on my website, avatarhealingarts.com, and check out our code of ethics and standard of practice to get an idea what we are talking about here. And yeah, I really feel that, yeah, the medicine, that the healing process is an undoing, and I learned this from the Maoris when I was in New Zealand. They have this concept of remembering, remembering who you are, remembering your true nature. And so, the same thing what you were talking about, that everything is already within you. You are already whole, complete, all wise, all powerful, but we have or neurosis or identity or limitations or ignorance, that is clouding that is like preventing us from really feeling that, connecting connect with that, live out from that place to express that. So the whole process of healing and awakening, for me, it's a big undoing and it's a big remembering. And yeah, that's what you said as well, right? It's just like letting go of what is not important, and remembering what is important, and why we are here. And when we do that, I observe in my life and in people's life that I work with, that you will have a peaceful and more joyful life. That's what you will have. So if that sounds good to you, then definitely connect with us or connect with somebody who can support you on this path. And yeah, do you have any offerings or anything you would like to share, Roxana? Like how can people work with you or reach you?
Yeah, I think the work that I do at the moment is integration sessions. I work on packages or one-time session, whatever is needed. I like to connect first thing over a short call to just identify what the person needs, if I can assist them. And then starting from there, we create a plan and we work together.
Wonderful. We're going to share your information in the description, and stay tuned. Just connect with us, follow us on social media. Your help is, appreciated. So we reach more people with this message. If you like this podcast, and yeah, if you have any questions or suggestions, just pop it into the comments. And if you want to be a part of the first ayahuasca integration facilitator training that we were just launching this year, and we are actually starting in 1 week, there is still time to jump into that, and if this is what you are called to support others outside of the ceremony container in their deep healing work, in the psychedelic integration. So yeah, check that out on my website. And until next time, stay tuned. Thank you so much and have a wonderful, magical day. Thank you, Roxana.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you for the work.
Thank you for listening, and leave a comment if you enjoyed this episode. Help us grow our community by sharing this episode with your friends, and subscribe to our channel to receive the latest on Ayahuasca Assisted Therapy. To embark on your healing journey or to start a new career in Psychedelic Assisted Therapy, go to my website, avatarhealingarts.com, and get in touch. And of course, stay tuned for the next episode.